Hey, everybody. Michelle is back, finishing up some of my breakfast, drinking me some tea on this Monday morning, and it's early. And usually, what I like to do is eat a whole lot during the morning hours, and then that way I don't have to worry about being hungry towards the evening and then trying to go to bed after eating because I used to have the problem with acid reflux, and it's because I was eating so much at a certain time of the day and then I would go to bed, and that would used to drive me insane. So now what I do is eat more, eat a lot, because I like to eat, believe it or not. But I snack a lot too, so I eat little small portions all throughout the day, and then at a certain time, like when the sun goes down or something, I'm done eating and wanting something to eat. I will just drink something or have a dessert or something. But anyway, let me talk about something that's also being perpetuated and lied and manipulated, and it's about the homeless or the unhoused. Is it that's, I guess that's a new term now, unhoused. Let me just say something. When I used to work on the streets, as a first responder around homelessness, unhousedness, or whatever, those homeless people do not bother anybody. Only problems with them usually is their panhandling, and I usually I've worked fatalities involving unhoused or homeless people because they're either run out in traffic trying to pick up that dollar that people are throwing out at them, which pisses me off more. Or they're on their bikes and they're not paying attention. They don't have the right kind of gear, and this and that and the other. So they end up getting themselves in accidents, and it's usually a fatality for them. If they're walking or on their bikes, unfortunately, because like I said, they're not geared up properly. A lot of them don't wear helmets. They don't have on the proper gear and stuff like that. But I had no problems with homeless people when I was working on the streets, working around in that community, because they were usually housed downtown. They congregate downtown a lot in downtown cities. All they do is most of the time they're sleeping during the day, and at night they may be wandering around, just attempting to be safe, because they're more targeted than homeless people are more targeted by others than homeless people targeting anybody else. Most of these homeless people can care. All they want is, they just want to get to the next hour of the day, okay, the next second of the day, the next minute of a day. That's their reality. Okay. They're not concerned about other things that everybody expects them to be concerned about. Okay. Usually they are unhoused because they want to be unhoused. They don't want that pressure of bills and pressure of attempting to keep up with the Joneses, because that's why a lot of them are out there on the streets as well. Because they were attempting to live this so-called illusion of American dream, and they just got themselves so overwhelmed, which is intentional, by the way. We all are intentionally overwhelmed, and so that's why people are going to be like this home here. At some point, at my age, I'm going to be outpriced. Being in this house. What does that mean? I won't be able to afford it. You know what I'm saying? And that's what they do to people. They make it. It's not that I can't afford it, but it's not worth me putting some money into it. Putting more money into it. I put a lot of blood, sweat, and tears in this, and this was fantastic for me, for my recovery. From my toxic work environment. Okay, so I'm happy with these results, and so now I'm ready to reap the rewards of it, and that's why I plan to sell it. Okay, but what's happening with these cities is that they are intentionally pushing certain people out of their homes to where they can't afford them. So for what reason? Well, okay, like I said, each city, if you look hard enough, have a blueprint of what they want to see in the future of their cities. And normally it doesn't include poor people, and more specifically, people of color. Black people are not included in those plans. So, and it's so amazing how people keep targeting homeless people and bothering with homeless people when there's genuinely good people in some political positions that care and they want to help the homeless or the unhoused. but they'll be criticized either way, or you know. So if I were them, I wouldn't be so stressed about that and not try to carry all that burden of people being unhoused and homeless. That's not, because in most cases that wasn't your burden. That was a burden. I mean, how long has Skid Row been in, in certain places? There's a Skid Row in every city. Okay, and that has lasted for generations and decades. But as soon as a certain skin tone of person come in office, all of a sudden that's all their problem. Like we have these, like I said, you have these feminine straight men claiming they're afraid of homeless people. These are so-called men, straight men with these extreme feminine qualities, and they're scared of homeless people? Are you kidding me? I've never heard such whining and complaining than I have ever from these feminine straight men. Everything's bothering them. All of a sudden San Francisco is a dangerous city, because two people that knew each other got into a dispute. Okay, those happen more often than anything else. But no, we always want to focus on everything about mass shootings. And then we want to blame the city, especially if it's a person of color running that city. And then all of a sudden now they're unsafe. Like I said, these feminine straight men are all of a sudden so afraid of crime, and so afraid of trans people, and so afraid of black people, so afraid of women. They're so fearful now. These so-called feminine men, these feminine straight men, all of a sudden they're so fearful of everything, whining like babies and carrying on. Okay, and I know women are tired of it, because women usually have to carry the load of these wimps and cowards, running around on social media, running around on television, telling everybody they're so afraid of homeless people all of a sudden. You're afraid of a homeless man or woman that do not bother anyone. They may ask you for $1, and so that makes you scared? You hear the contradictions. But you weren't scared 4 years ago, before black leaders come into the leadership positions. Were you scared then? Okay, were you scared about what Ronald Reagan has done to America? Were you afraid of what Richard Nixon done to this country? Donald Trump, are you afraid of those people? Are you concerned about that? No. Are you afraid of those people? Are you concerned about that? No. It always happens when a black woman or a woman of color goes into leadership positions, and all of a sudden you get these feminine straight men that are scared and acting like wimps and cowards. And then they're going to spread this propaganda about homeless people and how you're fearful of them. There's a bunch of rambling garbage. Okay, and it needs to stop. Okay, so support women in politics. Support women of color more specifically, because they're going to be the ones targeted. Pay attention. People that know me know I walk the talk, and I'm not just talking here. Okay, black women are targeted. I was targeted. Okay, others were targeted. Okay, so pay attention. Get your head out of the sand. If you want peace and love, the stuff you pray about, you get on your knees about, then pay attention to this. Be silent, be observant, but be forceful, however, in a nonviolent fashion. And I know you know how to do it. Be creative. Peace and love. And trust me, I'll be back.